Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Her Money Mindset Show. I'm Stephanie, her money coach, and I am so excited you're here. Thank you for joining us. And we are about to kick off our next series for December, the four weeks in December, where we are going to get ready and get our money lined up so that we can kick off January with a great start. This isn't just a quick fix or a one-off. It's going to be a complete system designed to help you get your money goals on the right track so that in January you can kick off and you can have the most fabulous money year next year. We're going to tackle everything step by step to make sure you have a solid foundation. Today, in our first episode of the series, we are going to dive into your money story and your money beliefs because uncovering those hidden narratives or stories that might be holding you back, you can see what they are and you can change them. It's as easy as that. Next week, we're going to look at money vision. So, dreaming big and creating a clear idea of what you want so that you can actually get it. In week 3, we're going to talk about money goals so that we can take that big dream and that big vision and put actionable goals into place. And then the final week, we're going to talk about money habits because money habits are the day-to-day things that will keep you on track with your goals. Let's get started. I'm so excited. Let me ask you this. When you think about getting better with your money, what comes to mind? Most people think about budgets, which for some reason people don't like. And at a future episode, we're going to talk about budgets in detail because they are not limiting. They are not holding you back from doing things you love. They are actually a great tool. So, anyway, most people think about budgets, savings, investings, kind of the practical stuff, and those are important, and we will talk about it. But I'm here to tell you the biggest problem isn't your money and those tools, it's how you're thinking about your money. And I talk about this all the time, but our thoughts are what generate our feelings, which generates our actions and our actual results. If we look at our current money results and they are not what we want them to be, we can track that back to the actions that we're taking or not taking. And the reason we're taking or not taking these actions is based on a feeling, which is driven by a thought. So let's talk about this in the construct of maybe New Year's resolutions, since that's what we're kicking off to a new year here. And we all start with big plans, right? About saving, paying off debt. Maybe we have a goal to buy a new car or a new house. But things get in our way of actually doing that. I think there's some statistic, and this is probably wrong, but like 90% of New Year's resolutions are put to the wayside by February. We get busy, we forget, or we just get discouraged because we don't know how to do it. We don't really have a plan. We set in kind of a idea, but we don't make a plan to get there. And before we know it, those goals, those dreams, those resolutions are no longer a thought. One of the reasons our money plans fail is because we don't understand our beliefs. And that's what drives all the things. Our beliefs are creating our money stories, and our money stories are creating all of the actions, all of the feelings, and inevitably our results. If we don't understand our beliefs about money, then we can't get there. I've talked about changing the sentences in your head, like thinking, I want to pay off debt, and that's good. But without changing how we think and what we believe, it's like you're trying to solve a puzzle with a blindfold. You might kind of accidentally get a few pieces right, but you probably get lost. And that's when we get discouraged. And that's when we forget all about our hopes and dreams, basically. That's why over the next 4 episodes, we're going to build a plan together. We are going to create a step-by-step guide to help you make this next year your best year. Today, we're starting with the basics, your money story. Everyone has a secret money story that's playing in their head. This money story is quietly influencing every decision you make about money. But this money story can be changed, and it can lead to you having more money if you change your story and your beliefs. And that's what we're going to talk about. So think of your money story as a book filled with all of your thoughts and all of your feelings about money. This book decides how you spend money, what kind of job you go after, if you ask for a raise or promotion, how comfortable you are saving, what are your spending habits. This story is shaped by your family, your experiences, and all the things you've learned about money. And it is a powerful force, often working without you even realizing it. So even if you don't think you have a money story back there, you most certainly do. So I grew up in a kind of regular middle class family. Both my parents had office jobs. They worked for a big corporation. My mom handled all of the money in my family. Every week, she diligently paid bills and balanced a checkbook, which is not something we do now. That really dates me. There was like an actual physical thing where she would write checks and she would keep kind of like an accounting of where that was. So now obviously we pay bills online and that's not a thing. But my point is she was super diligent about these tasks every week. And both of my parents believed that if you work hard, give your all to this company, that that company would take care of you. They had strong financial security based on their loyalty to the company. That made sense in their time. But here's the thing, that was the only example I knew. I never thought about other ways to make money. Starting a business seemed impossible. I didn't know anyone who did that, so I didn't think it was an option for me. It sounds scary and not very secure, like a regular paycheck was secure. I did what a lot of people did, which is exactly what I thought I should do. I went to college. I got a job at a big company and I was following the plan for a secure financial life. But life teaches us lessons, right? As I worked in these large corporations, and still do, by the way, and I absolutely love my career and my job. I am not one of those people that says ditch your job. But what I'm saying is you have to have bigger thoughts than just the narrow one that you might be in. I've learned that these companies aren't always secure. Jobs disappear. I cannot tell you how many layoffs, downsizing, right sizing, mergers that I have been through where people think their job is secure and then it's gone overnight. That's when I realized real security isn't in a job. It's about learning skills that are valuable out in the marketplace, whether it be with a big company or whether it be on your own as an entrepreneur or whatever it is, it's building skills. It's also having multiple ways to make income. And this idea changed my whole money story. I started to explore other ways to make money. I learned about investing in real estate. I started side hustles. I saw money in a completely new way. My ideas about how much money I could make expanded and my opportunities grew. Because as we're growing up, we only know what we see. That is what is possible for us. It takes us going beyond that and seeing everything that's possible for us. But I want to be clear, and I want to be clear on one point. Money is just money. It's a tool. It's the stories that we tell ourselves about the money that makes us feel good or bad. And that good or bad feeling, again, is what generates our actions and ultimately our results. So, one money thought that I had, and I kind of still have, if I'm being honest, is that you have to work really, really hard to make money. And that belief has stopped me sometimes from exploring other options because sometimes I'm in a season in my life where I don't want to or can't work really, really hard. For example, as a single mom raising two small children by myself, I couldn't take on jobs that travel. I really had to have jobs that were in a certain miles from the school so I could come and get them. So if I wanted to, let's say, take on a new role or move up the ladder into a promotion, and my thought was, I'm going to have to work a lot harder. That thought held me back because I couldn't work harder, meaning I couldn't work more hours because I had responsibilities to help my kids with homework, to do the things I needed to do to raise them. But that thought, you need to work really, really hard to make more money. Is that true? Now, I want to take a minute to say that I actually truly love working hard. In fact, at my age, there's a lot of talk about retiring. and I have zero interest in that. Now, I would love more time to do all of my passions, like talk about money and teach people and help people, but I don't think I'll never not want to work because work is fun to me. When I started questioning this belief that you have to work really, really hard to get more money, I remember growing up and my grandmother receiving checks in her mailbox that were apparently from her not really doing anything. They were just from her tenants paying rent for property she owned. That got me thinking, okay, there's other ways to make money in this world besides just working in a job at a big corporation. This money she was collecting is what's called passive income. It could be from rentals, it could be from being an Amazon reseller, it could be from creating online courses that you create once and then people buy them over and over. So you've done the work and then you continue to get sales. I mean, the list of ways to create passive income is endless. Now, I want to take a side note on passive income as it relates to rental properties because it's not always passive. It's not always you just create it and then it comes. Real estate investing can be very active depending how you do it. I won't go into that here, but if you're interested in that topic, I had a podcast for 2 years called Frenzied to Financial Freedom that's all about real estate investing, actually all different types of investing, but talk to a lot of real estate investors and women that have their own businesses as coaches, etc. I just want to be clear that passive income comes in a lot of different ways, shapes, and forms. But the idea that I'm trying to get to right now is that there are endless ways to make money and have income. And if we're just thinking about how we grew up and all of our money stories and beliefs are for like they were for me, that you work for a company and that's how you get money and that's it. That's not true. There are endless ways. Back to the topic. If you believe making a lot of money means working harder and harder, then you might think money is something difficult to get. And that actually makes it, some people even have money stories that making a lot of money is greedy or wrong. And that's not true either. Making money gives you options. And one of those options is that you can help people, you can help others and make a bigger difference in the world. So if you feel guilty about making more and more money, think about the good you could do with it. I say this because many people have money stories around how money is bad, how money is greedy, how people with money are evil, all of these things. And you need to check in. Money stories aren't just about not having enough or always wanting more. I had a client who grew up very, very wealthy, and she felt so guilty about it. She felt like she had this heavy backpack she had to carry around, and she didn't want to tell people how wealthy she was, and she tried to hide it, and she felt bad about it. So these money stories can work all kinds of ways, whether you come from money or you don't. Money doesn't solve everything, but it is important. And understanding how money works is very important. It's not about getting rich. It's about learning, doing, and having fun. Money solves problems. Let's just be real. And so, again, I just want to say your money story isn't about the actual money, like if you grew up with or without. It's about your beliefs and fears. And like I talk about, you can change your thoughts. You can also change your story, which can change your belief, and it can open up possibilities that you never knew existed because you are unique. Find what feels like fun and start changing your money story, and you will change your life. Money is a very heavy topic to some people, and that's because of their stories and beliefs around it. But if you can reframe that and make money about all the possibilities, how you can help people, and all the fun you can have, that will help you start looking at your money story. So let's do a quick exercise. Grab a pen and paper. And you can pause this if you need to run and do it. So here's 3 questions. You know, I love questions. Questions help put your brain to work. So here's 3 questions that can help you around your money story. Number 1, what did you learn about money growing up? I told you my story. You think about your story and what are some things you may have learned? And how have those things that you learned affected your choices now? How have they affected how you save or spend? How have they affected how you choose your career or your job? And third, what beliefs about money might be holding you back? If you think about what you learned and how they affect your money choices, which ones aren't helping you? Which ones would you want to change? This is important because once you find these beliefs, you can challenge them like I did. Like, you must go to college, you must work for a company for your whole life. Is that true? It's not true. And then we know because there's people out in the world doing all kinds of different things. So this might just be a story that you've told yourself. I had to challenge that belief that going to work at a big company was the only way to be secure. Once I challenged it, my eyes opened to so many possibilities, and so will you. I hadn't even noticed these things before because I was so entrenched in that one belief and I didn't think there were other options. So, what beliefs do you want to challenge? Now, our beliefs are core to our money stories. They aren't just these random thoughts, they're ideas, thoughts, sentences that we repeat in our brain over and over. I've talked about this before. By repeating these thoughts and ideas and beliefs, we are just rooting them deeper and deeper to our neural pathways, and they unconsciously affect our decisions and our outcomes. These beliefs either help us or hurt us. But the great news is we can change our beliefs. We can choose which ones to keep and which ones to let go of. Why not create beliefs that help you reach your money goals, believing that you can pay off your debt? It's just a powerful start. A lot of people in the money world talk about financial freedom. And financial freedom is basically the ability to live at your desired lifestyle without being dependent on a job or clients or whatnot, that you have income that's coming in that can pay your expenses that isn't dependent on one of those things. In my mind, financial freedom means looking at the thoughts that control your relationship with money. So be curious, like a thought detective, looking at those sentences and stories that you've learned about money and about wealth. And that's key to finding and changing the beliefs that are limiting your growth. As you do this, you might find thoughts like I had: takes more work, money is hard, I'll never have enough. If those things are going in your head, they are warning signs that a lot of your beliefs are around there always being a shortage of money. And those beliefs aren't good. They affect how you use it every day. They can lead to bad habits, overspending, not planning, not investing, because you're afraid to lose money because you have a belief that there's never enough. The idea of not having enough money is sneaky. It affects how you feel, creating stress and worry, and recognizing these thoughts as just beliefs, not facts, not truth, is the first step to you taking charge of your money. When you can reframe or shift that negative thought and move your feeling from helplessness to taking action, that can change everything. Once you notice the thoughts, you can decide to believe something different. Like we said, you can choose to see yourself as in charge, in control, fully capable. Imagine the impact this could have on your life. Take myself, for example. Often, when I would have a crisis with a rental, I would go into a stream of negative thoughts about the house, about the tenant, about the situation. I had endless stories of drama, evictions, which always stressed me out. But when I started to believe differently, that these things will happen. This is kind of a tax. When you have rental properties, you have to ultimately at some point evict someone, especially when you have a lot of them. These things just happen, and it's a privilege to be an investor. And this is why I have reserves, and it always works out. It just does. It always works out. Yeah, sometimes it costs a lot of money, sometimes there's damages, all of these things, but that's part of the process of owning properties and being a landlord. This new belief that this is just part of the process didn't erase the situation. It didn't mean those things never happened, but it did help me not suffer with stress which means my brain could be more open to take action, to create a plan, and not get paralyzed because of all of the stressful emotions. I'm telling you this so that you can see that your brain helps you manage your thoughts and make decisions. And positive thoughts opens up your brain and actually trains your brain to find solutions instead of problems. For example, if you're thinking about how you want to be debt free and you're thinking positive thoughts about that, that will motivate you to find ways to get there. It might motivate you to set up automatic savings, use a budgeting app, or get advice about best ways to pay off debt. It will move you to action because out of the feeling of motivation, you're going to have different actions. Going from feeling insecure about money to feeling good about it might seem hard, especially when the difference between where you are and where you want to be seems big. So you can use what we call bridge thoughts. So you're where you're at, you where you want to be, and there's this bridge thought. This thought, I want to be debt free, might seem not possible to you. So what is a bridge thought that you can have to help you get from where you're at to where you want to be? The bridge thought helps us feel less overwhelmed because changing broke to I'm wealthy is a big jump. But you could start with, I'm getting better with money every day. And that can be your bridge thought. If you're thinking and repeating over and over, I'm getting better with money. I mean, sooner than later, you're going to be wealthy. You will be gone from I'm always broke to I'm wealthy. But sometimes we need a bridge thought to help us get there. Friends, as we start the new year, I challenge you to think differently about money next year. Instead of just maybe setting goals or a New Year's resolution, let's look first at your money stories and imagine what's possible if you were to leave some of those old money beliefs that aren't helping you. Leave those in this year and let's start new with next year. Three things you can do as some homework is one, write down your current money story, all the beliefs you had about money, where they came from, and then look at them. Are they helpful? Are they true? And putting it on paper helps because then you can see them and you can kind of check through them like, okay, is that true? Is that helping me? It's a good way to kind of assess where you're at now. Then start brainstorming 3 ways you could make money that you haven't thought of. Is it listing things on eBay, having a garage sale, being a side hustle with Uber, starting a YouTube channel? I mean, it's endless. So just think of 3 and start percolating that in your head. You aren't committed to doing any of these. You are just starting to open up your mind. Next, start a journal, maybe call it a good news journal, or I have one that's called like accomplishments. Every time I do something that I'm proud of, even the smallest or the biggest things, I write it down. And when I'm feeling full of doubt or discouraged, I go back to this accomplishments list and it makes me feel good about myself because all of us have done a lot in our past. We have a lot of accomplishments, whether you're in touch with them or you're not. I promise you, you have a list of things that you have done that you can be proud of. So write those down. We don't do this enough. We do not celebrate the things we have done. There's a great book called The Gap and the Gain. I believe it's by Ben Hardy. I hope that's who it's by. But the Gap and the Gain talks about how most of us look back and are thinking about the gaps in our life, the things that we didn't do, the resolutions that we didn't keep, the things we said we wanted to do that we didn't do. And instead, we need to look back at the gains and we need to see all the things that we did do. Because again, it's from that place of positive emotions and feelings that is going to help drive us and get us where we want. If we're thinking about all the gaps and we're beating ourselves up, that isn't going to help us take the actions to get us to where we want to go. So, a great book if you're interested in that topic. As we get ready for the new year, I always like to review this year. So, what went well? What didn't go well? What were my hopes and dreams for this year that I did do? And what were the ones that I didn't do? And sometimes the ones we didn't do are okay because we weren't meant to do it. You're not judging yourself during this process. You're just getting it on paper so you can see it. Because the more you understand what you did and what you didn't do, you can then decide what you want to bring into the next year. Remember, your money story isn't permanent. Just like I changed mine, you can change yours too. So, thank you, friends, for joining today and talking about how our beliefs create our money stories and the good news that we can choose to change those beliefs if we want. If this episode has helped you, please share it, leave a rating and review. It helps get the word out so we can help others in a money situation to find peace and momentum. And don't forget to visit hermoneycoach.com and subscribe to my free weekly newsletter.